money and time-saving tips for booking your Disney World vacation. This is Go Inform Podcast, episode 63. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. Today, we are talking about tips to help you book your Disney World trip, specifically some money-saving tips, some time-saving tips, and efficiencies when you are getting ready to get that hotel reservation and finally make that vacation a reality. So thanks again for joining me on the show. My name is Maven. I'm your hostess. And this is the last in a series of actually 5 episodes. So thank you, everybody who has stuck with all the episodes. I hope there's been things in here that have helped you start to figure out what you want to do for your vacation. This is the last in the series. You don't have to listen to every episode about the hotels, but I think it gives you a really complete picture of what to consider and all your options when you are looking to stay on site at Disney World. So if you haven't listened to those other episodes, feel free to go back and check them out. I definitely recommend that you listen to episode 59, which is both an introduction to the hotels you'll find on the Disney property, as well as a discussion about how to narrow down the choices and make your final decision about where you want to stay. So now that you've listened to me kind of take you on a little tour of all the different resort options on site, you may be thinking, like, how am I going to decide where to stay? So we did talk about that on episode 59. And if you want to go back and kind of refresh your memory on that and rethink about it, I do recommend that. Okay, so today we get to talk about actually making this happen. And booking a Disney vacation is not necessarily a simple thing. There's a lot of parts to making your plan, and getting the hotel locked down, getting your dates locked down, that kind of thing is really, for most people, the first step in feeling like you've got this thing on your calendar and you're really going to go. So before you jump in and make that booking, I just want to give you guys a few of my top tips for saving money and making this easier for you. It's kind of crazy, but last night I had this dream that some really close friends of mine suddenly just spontaneously told me that they were going to go to Disney World. And in this dream, I remember thinking, well, I know exactly where you should stay and how you should book it and what you should do. And that is what I'm going to tell all of you guys today. So I'm going to give you my same advice that I would give them if they were planning a trip to Disney. So let's go. Let's start talking about how to make this happen. So the first tip that I have is to book your hotel and your park tickets in a package with Disney. There are other ways that you can book a package. You can book packages through Costco or Expedia or some of these other third parties. That's not what I'm going to talk about today. Those are options you have. However, they're typically more restrictive in their cancellation and their deposit and payment policies. So we are today going to talk about booking a package directly with Disney. When you book it directly with Disney, there's a lot of advantages over just booking the hotel and buying your park tickets separately. One of the biggest things is that you don't have to put a bunch of money down when you first book your package. And just to back up for a second, when I talk about booking directly with Disney, there's a couple ways that you can do this. You can just do it yourself on the website, the Disney website. You can also call the Disney reservation number and have them help you get that all put together. Or you can work with a Disney travel agent. A travel agent is going to get you the same price. And sometimes they can find you a better deal. Same thing that you're going to find on Disney's website with a lot of extra service advantages. And I do want to talk about travel agents more here in a minute. But in any case, booking your package directly with Disney makes financial sense and makes efficiency sense. So what it means to book a package at Disney is it has to include your hotel reservation and your park tickets. A package can also include other things like dining plans, airfare, and that kind of stuff. But in general, basically a Disney package at Disney World is your hotel and your park tickets. Now, you can also buy these things separately. You can just book your hotel on Disney's website or somewhere else, and then you can buy your park tickets separately. What you're going to find at Disney World is there's very few, if any, options to get discounted park tickets. So you're probably going to pay the same price for those park tickets, whether you put them in a package or not. But the thing is that if you buy the park tickets separately, you will have to pay the full amount for those park tickets as soon as you purchase them. And you guys, if you've got several people in your group and you're going for a few days, that can be thousands of dollars. So it's a big chunk of change to put down early. And there are reasons to buy your tickets early, which we're not going to dive really into today. But having those tickets in your pocket basically allows you to get your park reservations and some other things done in advance. If you don't have those park tickets in advance, you're not going to be able to make those kind of reservations. So having your park tickets when you book your hotel is really nice. Now, the way the package works with Disney is that when you make that reservation, all you have to do is put a $200 deposit down. So that's it. Your final payment is due 30 days before your arrival on your trip. So if you are planning in advance here, then for $200, you can make a deposit, you can have your hotel reservation, and technically you have park tickets at that point. So you are able to make your reservations for the parks, your fast pass reservations when we have those again, those kind of things, because you have tickets, even though you've only made a $200 deposit. To me, this is the main reason for booking in a package. That $200 gives you the reservation, gives you the park tickets. It is totally refundable if you cancel up to 30 days before arrival. One caveat, guys, this is the policy as of February of 2021. So, these deposit amounts and these policies can change. Double check it if you're listening to this kind of far out in the future. But this is the way Disney has run this for years, and I would expect that it would continue the same way. So there's a few cool advantages to this. I mean, one is you're not having to fork out a bunch of money right up front for your vacation. The second is if you want to, you can make payments on your vacation, especially if you're planning like many months ahead, 6 months, 8 months ahead for your trip. You can set some money aside every month and pay down the balance on your Disney vacation. So you don't have to just pay the $200 deposit and then wait until a month before arrival and pay all the rest. You can actually just make payments if you want. However you want to do it, Disney doesn't care. They just need that final payment 30 days before you arrive. So you're able to make payments for your hotel and your park tickets. And when you get there, now you've paid for your whole room too. So that's all done. You've prepaid for your vacation. So it's a really nice way kind of financially to handle a big expenditure like a Disney World vacation. So you might be asking, though, like if I buy a package 8 months ahead and then, I'm locked in, and what if the price changes or something happens? Like what if the price drops? Am I locked into this? So this is another thing that's really great about these packages. If the price drops or you need to change your plans, you can all the way up until that 30 days. Actually, I think you could probably even make a change all the way till you arrived. But anyway, so here's an example. Like if right now you're like, you know what, I'm going to plan this for a year from now because I feel like that is when I can travel. So you make your reservation, you make it at one of the hotels. Let's just say you make your reservation at Pop Century and you've got your price and you bought your tickets and you have your dates. And then like 3 months from now, you decide, you know what? I think I want to stay I'm going to go ahead and stay in the Contemporary Hotel. You can call Disney and they will change. You can even go on the website and make that change and change your hotel and take whatever the new price is. Maybe you want to stay at Pop Century, but you see a couple months before you're supposed to arrive, Disney offers some big discount. And now the price has dropped on the hotel that you had already booked, already made a deposit on. You can modify that package, modify that reservation, and have Disney give you that lower price. So even though buying this all in a package is kind of locking yourself in, there is a ton of flexibility in how it actually comes out in the end. It's up to you to watch for those discounts and see, and notice if something has changed and, maybe the price comes down on a hotel that you really want to stay in. And so you want to switch. You can do that as well. So you can make these modifications during this kind of interim when you're just waiting for the time to come for your trip. I know this sounds kind of complicated, and the idea of watching the prices, might be more than you want to deal with. This is a good argument for working with a travel agent. So let's talk about what that looks like and why I think that is a really good idea. It's a travel agent's job to know about these places, to advise you if you have questions about where to stay, what to do, all of that. If you find a good Disney specialist, they're going to have a lot of knowledge that they can share with you to help you plan your trip, not just book your hotel, but even help you with extra things that you might want to do. And the thing about a travel agent is that there is almost always no charge for their services. Companies like Disney, in their pricing, have already priced in a commission that's going to go to that travel agent to pay for their service. And you know what? When you make a booking with any hospitality company, the price you're paying is probably the exact same price that the travel agent can get you, which means that you're paying for that travel agent whether you use one or not. It's already built into the price. So using a travel agent is kind of a no-brainer, I think, for something like a Disney World trip. It's their job to watch those prices. It's their job to call Disney if something needs to be modified or changed. And it's their job if something needs to be canceled. And, we have all seen what can happen when some unexpected occurrence comes up and all of a sudden everything changes. And in 2020, when the parks closed and everything had to be unscheduled, travel agents worked so hard to make this happen for their clients. And you guys, if you get in a situation where you need to cancel your trip and so does a million other people, it is a lot of time on hold. And you really, really can benefit from having one person to call and have them take care of it for you. So I highly recommend working with a travel agent, if for no other reason, for that reason. But really being positive about this, a travel agent can help you figure out so many things about your trip. And they can be the expert with the booking, and, they can take care of all those details for you. So, all you need to do is just tell them what you want, where you want to go, and when you want to go, and they can make it happen. We're going to talk more about working with a travel agent, I think, in a future episode, because I just think this is something that we need to discuss further. But it's definitely one of my top tips in terms of booking your Disney World vacation. One last thing about packages, you can also book your airfare in your package, and occasionally you can actually save money on your flights by doing this. Not always, but it's worth asking. You don't have to book that airfare at the time you initially book your package. Again, a package just has to be your hotel and your park tickets. So you can call Disney months later and ask them for a quote for your flights and see what they can do for you. If it's a great fare or as good or better than what you can get on your own, then you can go ahead and add it into your package. Usually, just kind of a little technical thing, usually your flights, you will have to pay the full amount of that flight when you add it to your package. So it's not quite the same as just making a deposit. It depends on the situation, but just keep that in mind. But yeah, so sometimes you can save money on other things when you put this all together in the one package. Another tip for saving money or maximizing your spending, I guess, in terms of picking your hotel, something that is commonly done at Disney World is called a split stay. So a split stay is where you stay in more than one hotel during your vacation. And the reason people will usually do this is a couple reasons, I guess. One is you may just want the convenience of being able to walk to a certain park for part of your trip, and then you want to be able to walk to a different park for part of your trip. At Disney World, so big that one hotel is not going to do that for you. So you may want to stay close to Magic Kingdom for a few days and then switch and be closer to Epcot for a few days. But the main reason I think most people split their stay is so that they can have the experience of staying in one of the deluxe hotels for at least part of the trip. So when you split your stay, you could stay in one of the value hotels for, let's say you have a 5-night trip. You could stay in the value hotel for the first 3 nights, and then you could switch to a deluxe for the last 2 nights, or even just the last night of your trip. This way, you're not paying that deluxe hotel rate the entire time, but you still get the experience of staying in that hotel for at least a night or 2. Disney will actually transfer your luggage for you when you do this. So you just book it all in one big vacation. And then when you are ready to switch hotels, you can give your bags to Bell Services. And while you're in the parks all day, they will just transport your stuff over to the new hotel. So when you go there, your bags are already there. You don't have to deal with that. This is kind of a fun idea, I think. It's a way you can sample some of the hotels, and you can save money by not staying in the deluxe the whole time, but still get that experience. Another way to save money when you are planning your Disney vacation is to consider not getting a rental car. For the most part, if you're planning to just go to the Disney parks and hang out on the Disney World property, you don't need a rental car. You can use the Magical Express bus to get to your hotel. It's included with your stay. Or you can just Uber or take a taxi or something from the airport. And once you're on site at Disney, they provide so many transportation options. You probably don't want to drive. The only thing I would say about this right now is that because capacity is limited on all the transportation, if you're traveling during the COVID operations, you may want a car because it gives you the flexibility to drive, not wait for as long for a bus. But under normal operations, using the Disney transportation is super convenient, actually often more convenient than having your own car. And then you're not paying for parking and you're not paying for renting that car. If you are planning to be doing Disney 99% of the time, but one of the days you want to go down to Cape Canaveral or something, you can actually rent a car on site. There's car rental agencies at Disney World. You can just rent a car for the day. You don't have to, again, no paying for parking at your hotel if you just rented it for the day. It's not very expensive, and it's pretty convenient to just pick it up when you need it and then drop it back off. I know for most of us, renting a car is an automatic thing we do when we plan a vacation, but at Disney World, you don't really need it. So just keep that in mind. Don't automatically assume that you're going to want a rental car, because for me, the default is no car. And then this tip is really related to getting the room you want, finding out more, and making that decision so you know you're really staying where you want to stay. I highly recommend getting a hold of an unofficial guide to Disney World. These books have so many details about the hotels. They even have a chart in there that tells you the average time on the bus and the various transportation methods between every single hotel and every single park. So if you really want to dive into the details and figure out exactly what's going to make the most sense for you, I really recommend getting one of those books. You can order them on Amazon. You can get it at your local bookstore. But yeah, grab an unofficial guide, you guys. Along with that, the touringplans.com website is an awesome resource. This is run by the same people that do the unofficial guide, and they actually have a paid subscription that's it's $15 a year or something, and you get a discount if you have an unofficial guide. The Touring Plan site has some really cool things on it related to the hotels. They have a lot of different video tours of the rooms and up-to-date information, where the book, especially right now, the book's going to give you a lot of info, but stuff changes. The website's going to be more up to date. But one of the coolest things on the Touring Plans website is a room finder tool, which allows you can actually see the view from every single room in Disney World on this website. It's really cool. I actually dedicated an episode to this, episode 29. I talk about the room finder tool, and also they have a really great tool to help you get dining reservations as well. But in terms of finding your room, if you use the room finder tool on Touring Plans, you can go look at a certain hotel and you can put in things like how far away from transportation you want to be, what kind of view you want, stuff like that. And it will actually tell you which buildings those rooms are in, what type of a room that is. So this is where you can find out, do I need to pay for a preferred room or just a regular room? Or do I want theme park view, or what do I want? You can actually get the answers in this room finder tool. So this is one of my favorite tips about picking your room at Disney World. So definitely check out episode 29. The show notes for that episode have screenshots too. So if you want to see what this looks like, those show notes are at goinformed.net/29. And then the last thing I highly recommend when you are looking at putting your package together for your trip is to consider adding Universal to your Disney World vacation. It is really easy to do both Universal and Disney in the same vacation. And actually, that's going to be the topic of our next episode. But just keep in mind that you can do both. You can stay at Disney for part of your trip, and then you can switch over to Universal, or you can stay at one place or the other and just do a day trip. to the other theme parks. But it's not hard to combine these two. And if you're going to Orlando, I highly recommend that you spend some time at both Disney World and Universal, because there's so much to see in both places. You should see it. So that would be my last tip here, is to consider adding Universal to your vacation. Okay, guys, so the show notes for this episode are at goinform.net/63. And be sure to check that out. That is my big guide to the Disney World hotels. So really, those are the show notes for the entire last 5 episodes. So if you want to, review what we talked about and get some links to some of the hotels and that kind of stuff, you'll find that all over on the website. Thank you again for joining me for this kind of epic tour of the Disney World hotels. And thanks too for following me on social. You guys can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. I am at GoInformNet in all those spots, and it's always great to connect with you over there. Next episode will be about combining Universal and Disney World in one vacation. So please stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed to the show, and I will catch you guys next time. Have a great day.